All right, adventurers, let's journey to the incredible landscapes of Africa, Australia, and South America. Out on the vast, sun-baked savannas, you'll see something amazing. They look like giant clay towers pointing to the sky. Some of them are taller than a giraffe, reaching up to 8 meters. These aren't ancient ruins or strange rock formations. They are termite mounds, some of the most fascinating structures in the entire animal kingdom. These natural skyscrapers are built by millions of tiny insects working together. It's a city built by bugs, and it's a masterpiece of engineering that has stood the test of time, providing a safe and stable home in some of the world's most challenging environments. Now, here's a super cool fact that might surprise you. When you look at one of these giant mounds, you might think it's packed full of termites. But that's not quite right. The mound itself is mostly empty. Think of it more like a giant set of lungs for a city that's hidden deep underground. The real action, where the termites live, eat, and raise their young, is all happening beneath the surface. The colony has a special chamber for the queen, nurseries for the eggs, and even gardens where they grow their own food. The mound is the support system, the life support machine that keeps everything running smoothly down below. So, what does this incredible structure actually do? It's all about creating the perfect living conditions. These mounds are brilliant at controlling the environment. They act as a giant air conditioner and a humidifier all in one. The clever design of tunnels and vents inside the mound helps to circulate air. It brings fresh, cool oxygen down into the underground nest and pushes out the hot, stale air. This system keeps the temperature and humidity inside the nest just right, day and night, no matter how hot or dry it gets outside. It's a perfect example of how animals can change their surroundings to survive. This ventilation system is pure genius, and it works without any moving parts. It's all powered by the sun and the daily changes in temperature. During the blistering heat of the day, the air on the outside of the mound heats up. This hot air rises and flows out through special vents, pulling cooler, fresh air in from below. Then, at night, when the outside cools down, the process reverses. This constant, gentle breathing motion ensures the underground colony never gets too stuffy or overheats. It's a passive, energy-efficient system that human architects are now studying to design better buildings for us. So, how do millions of tiny, soft-bodied insects build something so enormous and sturdy? It's a team effort, and they use some very unusual building materials. Termites are master builders, and their secret recipe is a special kind of cement made from their own bodies and the world around them. The main ingredients are soil, clay, and sand. But the magic that holds it all together is their own saliva and feces. That's right, they basically spit and poop their way to a skyscraper. It might sound gross to us, but this mixture is incredibly effective, drying as hard as concrete. The building process is slow and steady, with every single termite playing a part. Worker termites carry tiny particles of soil in their mouths. They mix each particle with their saliva, creating a sticky little mud ball. Then, they carefully place it, one by one, to construct the intricate walls, arches, and tunnels of the mound. Millions of termites do this over and over, day after day, year after year. They work in complete darkness, guided by chemical signals and instinct. It's an incredible display of cooperation, a massive construction project where every worker knows its job without ever seeing a blueprint or getting instructions from a boss. The final structure is not just a simple pile of dirt, it's an architectural wonder designed for strength and function. The walls are thick and tough, protecting the colony from predators like anteaters and from the harsh weather, like pounding rain or baking sun. Inside, the network of tunnels is incredibly complex. There are wide-open chimneys that run up the center and a web of smaller, thinner tunnels near the surface. This design is what allows the mound to breathe, creating the airflow that is so vital for the colony's survival. It's a fortress and a climate control system built from the ground up. What's truly mind-blowing is that the termites are constantly maintaining and repairing their home. If a part of the mound gets damaged, an army of workers swarms to the site to fix it. They seal any breaches to keep predators out and to make sure their ventilation system keeps working properly. They are always remodeling, sometimes changing the shape of the mound to better suit the local wind patterns or sun exposure. A termite mound is never truly finished. It's a living, breathing structure that grows and changes with the colony it protects. It's a lifelong project for these tiny, determined engineers. The story of how termites became master architects is a long and epic journey of evolution. It didn't happen overnight. Millions of years ago, the ancestors of these mound builders had a much simpler lifestyle. They lived inside the very thing they ate, rotting wood. Imagine your house was also your dinner. This worked for a while, but it had its limits. Living inside your food source meant that when the food ran out, you had to move. It also meant that colonies couldn't grow very large. To become a superorganism, they had to take a big, bold step. The first major change was separating the nest from the dinner plate. Around 50 million years ago, in the ancient rainforests of Africa, some termite species started to innovate. They began building nests on the outside of trees, using a mixture of wood pulp and saliva. This allowed them to live in one safe, central spot and send out workers to forage for food on the forest floor. This was a huge, evolutionary leap. It meant colonies could grow much larger and become more organized. But their journey wasn't over. The world itself was about to change, and the termites would have to adapt or face extinction. Around 30 million years ago, some of these termites began an incredible migration. They started to spread out from Africa, traveling across the vast oceans. But how? Termites are terrible flyers. Scientists believe they traveled by rafting. They likely floated across the seas on large pieces of wood debris, carried by ocean currents. This is how they reached new continents like South America and, eventually, Australia. When they arrived in Australia between 10 and 20 million years ago, the continent was a much wetter, greener place, covered in rainforests. So, they continued their tree-nesting lifestyle, thriving in the familiar environment. But then, the climate in Australia began to change dramatically. About 7 to 10 million years ago, the continent started to dry out. The lush rainforests began to shrink, replaced by wide-open grasslands and savannas. Trees became scarce, and the ground became hotter and drier. For the tree-nesting termites, this was a disaster. Their nests were exposed to the harsh sun, and they couldn't find enough suitable trees. To survive, they had to make another radical change. They moved underground, digging into the soil to find the cooler, more humid conditions they needed. This was the final step that led to the amazing mounds we see today. Going underground saved the termites from the harsh new climate, but it also created a new problem: how to breathe. A colony of millions of insects, all living in a sealed underground chamber, produces a lot of stale air. They needed a way to get fresh oxygen in and carbon dioxide out. The solution was brilliant. They started building upwards. The mound evolved as an extension of their underground nest, a dedicated ventilation device. It was the perfect adaptation for life in the dry, open grasslands. The mound provided stability, protection, and, most importantly, a way to breathe. What's really fascinating is that this brilliant idea wasn't a one-time thing. Building mounds is a classic example of what scientists call parallel evolution. This means that different groups of termites in different parts of the world all came up with the same solution independently. Termites in Africa, Asia, and South America all started building mounds to cope with similar environmental challenges. Even within Australia, scientists have found that mound building evolved separately at least 9 different times in one termite group alone. This proves just how successful this survival strategy truly is. It's nature's way of saying, if you have this problem, here is a great answer. These structures do more than just help the termites. They are known as ecosystem engineers because they have a huge impact on the world around them. The mounds change the soil chemistry, creating fertile patches of land in otherwise poor soil. These islands of fertility attract other plants and animals. Many other creatures, from lizards and snakes to mongooses and birds, use abandoned termite mounds as ready-made homes. In the vast flat savanna, a termite mound can be a vital source of shelter, a lookout post, or even a home for a whole new family of animals. So, the next time you see a picture of these incredible natural skyscrapers, remember the amazing story behind them. They are more than just piles of dirt. They are a testament to the power of teamwork and adaptation. They are climate-controlled fortresses, built with spit and determination. They tell a story of a long evolutionary journey, from a simple life inside a log to becoming masters of their environment. The humble termite, a tiny and often overlooked insect, has truly conquered some of the toughest landscapes on Earth, all thanks to its ability to build these magnificent towers. It's one of the greatest success stories in the animal kingdom.